Hello and welcome. My name is Driven Bernard, and this is my creative critical reflection. This year, I was enrolled into an ACE class that taught me all about the different aspects of a film. When I was told to create a movie opening featuring any genre I wanted, I was excited to choose the genre of murder mystery. This genre was recently instilled and imprinted into my mind because I recently just finished watching a movie called Death on the Nile. This film was an adventurous and exciting murder mystery film that used a scene that I immediately thought about recreating when I chose this genre. This specific scene was a scene that they used to introduce the first sight of one of the main character's dead bodies. This scene was an aerial spinning zoom out of the dead body's face. This scene also had another element or aspect to it that really set it apart from other scenes that were filmed. This, of course, was none other than the use of a violin sound typically found in horror movies. This type of sound was a sound that would have an outstanding performance at creating tension and uneasiness in a scene. This sound was a sound that I would soon find out would have to be recorded as a voiceover, which was played from another phone. This sound, along with just about every other sound that you end up hearing in my film, was added in by me during the editing phase. Some of the sounds were Foley sounds, which I ended up having to recreate in various different ways to match the sounds of the action performed in the scenes. While some of the other sounds and music that you end up hearing were added in by screen recording the sound off of YouTube and adding it in as a voiceover to the film. This process took countless hours to perfect and really showed me to look deeper into a film as I watch it and try to imagine the different ways the sound that I hear came to be. Filming my whole movie opening and editing it was a very long and excruciating process for me. I changed up the whole plot line and changed the way specific scenes were supposed to be filmed countless times. I even deleted scenes that I wanted to include for the sake of the overall appeal of my movie. The only things that I really knew 100% that I wanted to include and not change throughout this process was the name of my film, The Mysterious Case, and the fact that I wanted to include and recreate the aerial spinning zoom out scene. These things remain the same throughout because I managed to create my whole project and build it up around these two things. Which this leads us into the main plot and storyline for my film opening. The plot for my movie features two best friends, Draven, who plays the murderer in my film, and Bianca, who plays the little sister to the detective, better known as the victim. These two begin coming home from the bus stop to study while no one is home. The soon-to-be victim is the little sister to a detective who is out running errands while they are on their way home. The detective has no idea who the friend is or that he is even coming over to the house while he is out. The two friends then begin to play around as they are coming up the stairs, and this then leads the soon-to-be murderer to push the victim. However, the murderer pushes the victim way too hard on accident, and this causes her to fall and break her neck. The rest of the movie showcases the murderer's escape while the detective is in close pursuit as he finds clues that lead him on the murderer's trail. My genre was that of murder mystery, and I think that my movie lives up to the full expectations expected from a murder mystery as it showcases a death and the pursuit of a murderer by a detective. After successfully coming upon the completion of my murder mystery film opening, I had one of my friends watch it and ask me a couple of questions regarding my movie, recorded in the form of an interview. Roll the tape! How do your products use or challenge conventions, and how do they represent social groups or issues? My film uses conventions found in all murder mystery type films. For example, in most murder mystery movies, detectives would normally find clues that then lead them to the assumption of who the murderer is. My film features a detective in cold pursuit of the murderer after he has committed his crime. While my film lets you know who the murderer is from the start, it withholds the information from the detective. This then gives the detective the same stereotype when it comes to the aspect of finding clues. The social issue that my film represents can be related to the topic that accidental deaths occur every day in this country that we live in. Accidental deaths, of course, are still deaths. However, the killer did not want to kill and/or did it on accident. Now, I'm not saying that a murderer who did not intentionally do what he did should be let off the hook. However, I am making it a point to not give them the same amount of punishment than the others who meant to commit the crimes that they committed. How do your products engage with the audience, and how would they be distributed as real media products? I would say that my film engages with the audience. If not, I would say that I really tried my hardest to make sure that it does. From the moment that my film started playing, you can hear all sorts of noises. I have added all of these sound effects and Foley sounds to create a sense of surrealism, which makes it relatable in a sense of real life. You can tell certain things about the settings because of these sounds. For example, the birds chirping add a tone of mood that can be related to the experience of being outside with nature. Adding in the sounds of a bus driving past in the beginning can make the audience think that they are coming back from school, even without background information. And by adding in suspenseful sounds and music, it leads the audience to feel uneasy and creates tension. I would go on to say that if my film was a real media project, I would try to have it be distributed by a mainstreaming media source, ultimately like HBO Max or Netflix. Mainly because these two streaming platforms have a lot of movies that go along with the murder mystery genre, like Death on the Nile, Glass Onion, and the entire Knives Out series. Of course, though at first I would have to advertise it through social media. This can help to promote my film and increase popularity with a small group of people at first, but then, as more and more people begin to like it and rate it highly, it would then begin to become this big thing that plenty of people would like. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? I would say that my production skills have developed considerably, considering that at the beginning of production, I didn't really know how to implement the use of certain angles and many different ways to film a certain scene. But as I started to refilm scenes over and over, I learned that different angles and the different ways of shooting a shot could end up creating different moods, tones, emotions, and end results. How did you integrate technologies in this project? During production of my project, I have integrated many different ways of using technology. For example, in certain scenes, I had to use the lighting from a ceiling fan to really light up the character's face and get a good look at their facial expressions. I also used an app called iMovie to edit all of the scenes together along with adding in certain sounds. I also used a flashlight in the scene where he finds the footsteps to really bring out the detail in the footsteps and show that he found a clue. This project to me was very exciting to complete, and I felt a huge sense of relief when I finally completed it all, because I knew that with all the hours of hard work that I had put into it, I really gave it my all. Some of the scenes that I filmed came from a different movie which inspired me, like the scene from Death on the Nile, the aerial spinning zoom out. The characters that I had in my film were some of my friends from school. The boy who played the detective in my film was one of my friends named Jacob. He really did an amazing job expressing emotion and shock as the movie progressed. The girl in my film was Jacob's girlfriend. Her name is Bianca. She also did an amazing job expressing emotion as the two friends began to play around coming up the stairs. She was also the person that I got to push around multiple times as we filmed the scenes over and over. Then there was me. I played the role of the murderer in the film, and I really tried to express the fact that the murderer began to start stressing after committing his crime, with the heartbeat and the pacing around the room in circles. I had a really fun time filming and reshooting certain shots because I got to do it with my friends. And I am very glad that I finished this project. I had a blast.